Hi everybody, I'm Scooter, I'm Funko J's dad, and I've been building dioramas recently for my 1/4 inch scale Ninja Turtles and my Deadpool, my Batman. And I've had a few people ask me how I, in particular, make brick walls and brick culverts, anything to do with bricks and stones. So today, I'm actually going to show you how to do that, so stay tuned. Okay guys, so what we're going to do today is show you how to turn a piece of polystyrene board like this into something like this. We're going to focus on the brickwork more than anything today, and I'll show you how I do the colours, the bending, the cutting, shaping, everything. Alright, so for this project you're going to obviously need some of this polystyrene compressed board. Now, in some countries they call it insulation board. They just call it foam board here. You can tell it's the right one because it's really dense and you can shape it and sand it and do whatever you want with it, as compared to the packing foam you would get in a box where when you cut it, it all breaks apart into tiny little balls, etc. Don't get that one, get this one, it's much easier. You can get it in 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 2 inch, whatever you need for the project. Alright, so this is the one that was a 1/2 inch that I needed to trim down, so I've actually cut it in half, which is a task in itself. You're going to need a plate, and the reason you need a plate is because you need red, black, brown, yellow and white paint to mix, obviously, for your brick colours, because not all bricks are red. Then you'll also need a standard pencil, doesn't matter what colour, it's not to draw with, you'll see what I mean. A carpenter's pencil or a chippy's pencil, because it's wider, and you'll see later why that is required. And obviously you're going to need a paintbrush. That's pretty standard when you have paint. Okay, you'll also need a square for when you're doing your brickwork, and last but not least you're going to need something to measure with so you can get your bricks right. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'll show you how I start the bricks. Okay, so now if you want to work in scale, which means a direct measurement of the original size in a smaller version, you can, or you can go by eye. I've made stuff by eye before and it looks pretty good, and then the other time I've done it and you stand back and look at it and you think that just looks ridiculous, it's far too small. So the Ninja Turtle that I've got, my Leonardo, is 1/4 scale, so everything I make is 1/4 scale. So the brickwork, for example, I don't know the exact measurements, but you can look it on Google. I know that in millimeters, and I'll put a conversion up for all my American friends, that in millimeters, it's 50 millimeters by 30 millimeters is pretty much 1/4 scale brick. Okay, so that means that it's 30 mil, so you make your 30 mil mark. So 30, 60, 90, 120, and we're going to have a little bit at the bottom, but that's alright, I can just paint that off another colour, it won't make any difference. Do the same at the other end. Make sure it's the same size. Pretty much is. Whoops. Righto, easy. So obviously you need to line the lines up so you can draw this in. Now, if you don't have, get yourself a bigger ruler, which I've got one over here somewhere. Now I'm going to draw this in. I'm going to basically just draw the brickwork in. You just do a knife, and then you don't need to see this. You don't need to listen to me talk while I do this. So what I'll do is I'll start to calm the farm. I'll draw it in, and we'll speed this bit up, and then I'll come back and talk in a minute. Right, so now that you've done your measurements and you've drawn it out with the grey letter or pen, grey letter's better because you can hide it easy when you paint it. You now need to go over with a knife gently, a sharp knife, over all the lines you've just marked and cut it out. Now, if you watch here, I'll show you what to do. So come down here. So always make sure you use a sharp knife because it'll tear the foam rather than cut it, all right? The camera will shake you doing it. All right, so you need to come over the top of me probably. Just see that? So nice and sharp, and just put it in and just score it a little bit. So I'm only probably putting, well, I reckon, that much of the knife in. That's it. Now, you can do it by hand. I like to do it just without a... I do a lot of sign writing, so it makes things a lot easier. So, okay guys, now that you've used your knife and you've scored all your brickwork, this is the easy bit. So what you now need to do is get your builder's pencil, and because it's deeper and wider, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make the edging of your bricks where your cement would be. So the easiest way to do that is just put the pencil in and pull it through like that. And you can see that it leaves that gougy bit on each side. It actually gives it some dimension. So this is all you do, is just run your pencil through all the marks, and you can go back and forth. It depends on how deep you want it. So you go like that multiple times, but then it looks a bit silly. Now the good thing is with brickwork is, if they're all handmade bricks, none of them are perfect, which means that you don't have to be perfect with the way you make them either. So you just run your pencil through all of them, even the little bits down the bottom, which I just missed that one and I just broke a bit off. That's the problem with the edge, but that's alright because you can clip it out like it's a bit of broken brick. And obviously you do the same through the long pieces, and as you can see, it's already starting to take the shape of a brick wall. Oh, whoops. That's alright. Now, here's a common mistake. This is where the pencil has actually run off the line of the piece I was after, but that's okay because not all bricks are perfect. So you can actually chisel that bit out with the knife and make it look like it's an indentation and part of the natural form of the brick. Okay, so there you go. Now you have your bricks ready to go. So the next thing you now need to do is make them look more like bricks. Alright guys, I forgot to mention at the start of the video, there's one really important piece of kit you need to make this. It's the most expensive part to get. It took me ages to find one, but I finally got one. It's cost me a bomb, and it is a bit of stone from the garden. This is why doing this stuff is cool, because you can use anything that you find in your garden. You can use bark to make stones, rocks to do this. So, you don't want, all bricks aren't smooth and flat. They've got dents in them and things, so you can pretty much guess what's about to happen. So you just get your stone and push it in to the brickwork wherever you need to, where you think, oh, that'll look alright. And it gives it that natural sort of weathering look. Now don't go over the top because then it doesn't look right. But as you can see, that has made it look more of a natural bit of brickwork. Well, it cost me nothing. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next piece you want to do is, now that you've done that, and it'll all make sense when you paint it, because when you paint the first layer over, the black that you use will go in all these indentations, and it goes in deep and it creates the shadow of the brick. So the next thing you want to do is think, oh well, bricks don't all look good, so this is where I made a mistake. So just get your knife and just tease it out. And you're going to think it doesn't look right, but it will. You just have to manipulate it a bit so it looks like a bit of broken concrete. Right. You do the same up here a little bit, so just leave it like it's got a crack in it. can do that anywhere on brickwork. Don't be afraid to use any tools you want. So now the brick looks like it's been just had a bit chunk taken out of it. Pretty easy. So then when you do this stuff, you don't want to do some damage work here and then another one here and another one here because they're too close. Spread them out a bit as much as you can. So I'd like to get this corner, break that corner out. Now sometimes when you do it, you'll see a natural pattern the knife created. So you can get anything you want and smooth it out. I'll put a dent in it, see? So now that looks like a brick's got a big chunk missing out of it. So you've sort of got a pattern of stuff happening here and then nothing down here. So you just find another one and just take a chunk out. There's your brick wall, ready to go. Okay, so next step is paint. Okay, so you've now got your brickwork ready to a point where you want to start painting. The first thing you're going to need is black paint. Alright, so it doesn't matter what brand it is, as long as it's black paint, it does the job. And you won't be using it at full strength either, because you're making what we call a wash. So, first thing you need to do, obviously, is a bit of black paint. You don't need heaps. Everyone seems to think you have to squirt half a tube out. It's not the case. And some water. This is water I've used 50 times. It doesn't matter. It's just going to be the same colour. So you just need some water. Okay. Just move that for 2 minutes. So I just tease a bit of black out because you don't want heaps. And we just water it out. See that? So you haven't got heaps of pigment, but it's enough to make what you need. Now, paint the whole thing. And you want all that water to go down in those cracks. And if it doesn't look like it's dark enough, which this doesn't, tease a bit more paint out. Go again. But you definitely need to get it in the cracks, because that's what's going to make it look really bricky. Now, in this case here, this bottom one doesn't look thick enough, so I just run the pen through it again. Pencil, sorry. Now it's a bit better. Alright, so you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'm now going to speed this up again, so you don't have to sit and listen to me chat. Okay, so there you go. It's now been fully painted. It looks patchy as hell, but that doesn't matter because you're going to be painting over it again. The main thing you want is the black to get into the deepness of the cracks so it can create your shadow. And as you can see, it's already forming in there, and in the dips and cuts that we've put in and the scratches, that all adds to it. So before you can move on to any step, you now need to let this fully dry. So let's get this dry. Okay guys, so as you can see, that's dry, and it actually looks like bricks. Pretty happy with that. So now the next step and the final step, if you're happy with it, is to basically paint your bricks. Now not all, depends on what bricks you want. You can go for the dark grey, greeny coloured bricks, or you can go for the clinker bricks, which are like reds, or you can go brown bricks, whatever you like. In Australia we have the clinker bricks, which are the reddy coloured bricks. And I'll show you my finished version of bricks later, but we're going to do them that colour. So, you obviously need your bricks. You've already got black paint, which you're not going to use much of. Bricks being the red in base, you're going to use red the most, so obviously red's the colour you're going to use the most of, and that's the one you're going to mix with the most. You need a tiny bit of white so you can go to that, go up a level in colour. So you go from a red to that sort of weathered pink look you see on some bricks. And you're going to need yellow, which I'm nearly out of. I'm going to struggle here to get the yellow out. Because you need your yellow to build up an orange to go to terracotta. And then the last colour you need is just a little bit of brown. And that helps with the weathering. Alright, so obviously you've got your colours and you've got your dirty water. Alright, how's that? So you tease out your colours. Now the black is good because it makes it that muddy red colour you can now see. And you just pick whatever brick you want to paint, whatever colour you want. And you'll see that the black actually shines through the brick. It comes through underneath and all your indentations stay black. And you get that really cool colour on your brickwork. Now, it takes a little while to sometimes get the right consistency of your paint so it's not completely see-through. But as you can see, there's already a difference. Right, so you've got a nice sort of darker coloured one. So then you want to step it up a bit. Bit of yellow, bit of red, bit of Van Dyke brown. You mix your next colour up. Just a little bit of water to keep it going. Pop it in. And relax it. Alright. And no, I'm not going to put a tree over there if anyone says it. Alright, so I'm now going to shut up and I'm going to paint the bricks and you'll see what they look like as we go along. guys, right, so that's the painting done. So with, what, 5 colours maybe? You can mix them up to make like so many different tones. You just, whatever you like. And you'll see that eventually as you add them together, you get this. So to me, that looks like a brick wall. So what we're going to do now is, we'll let it dry, we'll put it out in the sun and let it dry for 10 minutes. Then we'll bring it in because the colours will be entirely different. And then we'll do a couple of touch-ups and we're finished.
11 minutes later.
Okay, 10 minutes has passed, and as you can see, our brickwork is dried. And this is our result. I think it's come up pretty cool. There was the bit where I made the mistake. So we just dug that out a bit, and now it looks like it's actually a natural problem with the brick. Same down in here. Now, the last thing I like to do with this before I actually use it is I like to just run a bit more black through the edges just to darken them off a bit more. It gives you a bit more shadow and depth to each piece. So that's like, how easy is this going to be? So, get your brush, and actually in this case, I might just use a smaller brush over my little brush pile here. Bit of water, always need the water. Thin it out, because you don't want it pure black. So you can see it's really thin. Right. And just plop it in spots where you think it needs just a little bit more darkness. See that? It'll just bring it out. And you don't do it in every spot, but do it in random spots where it just needs a bit of a patch up. Because nothing's natural, like the shapes aren't going to be natural all the time. So if you pat it in like that, it'll seep in. You can just wipe it off with your finger, see? And when it dries, it'll actually leave it the way you wanted it. So I just like to, I'm moving around here on jade like a madman. Now obviously I want to make this one a bit darker in the, right up in the edge there. Now if you get a bit crazy with the brush, just wipe it off with your finger like that. It'll stay in the crack, but it'll take it off the top. And just in this little piece here, I'll just push a bit in. Okay. So now I can see that I've done all the lines that way, but I need to go a couple the other way as well. So I'm going to go this way. Now your brush will go over the edge, as you can see it's happening right now. So run your finger over it a couple of times. Just darken it. Sorry, I'm going to get some paint. Jade's filming, so she's poor bugger's trying to keep up with where I'm going. At the top of your Jade. Alright. So there is your brickwork.
I love it, Dad.
So now, if you were in a sewer or something like that, you could put some green on it, like just a little dry brush green, and smear it with your finger. Or you could put dust on it or dirt. So what I might do is I might put a little bit of green on it just to give you a demo of what it can look like. Okay, so what I was talking about with a little bit of green. So I've got some green here. You can use any green, and I've just found this one in the drawer there of my paints. So you really want to water this sucker down. Alright, so you come over to the actual brick and you put it on around the edges where you would like it to be. It's not going to be on every brick. Right, get your finger and smear it out. And as you can see, it gives it that sort of yucky green colour. You'd highlight bits to make it look like maybe the drain stripped on it or something like that. Just rub it in and move it around. Now you've got a dirty green brick. Now, if you wanted to go the step further, you could just put a bit of yellow in it and that'd change some green in spots. And give it like that mossy look. Can you see that on the camera?
Sort of.
It's a bit hard probably.
Yeah, the white.
see.
There we get a good angle here, it will focus.
So what do we turn like that? So now you've got like a greeny look to it. Just give it a rub with your finger before you see a mark.
Very good.
So now with mine, my Ninja Turtle one, I wanted toxic green, obviously. So I use this pearlized green, and like it is, you'll see what I mean in a minute.
Wow.
Like I'm expecting that's what radioactive Kermit the Frog's blood looks like. Alright, so if you wanted to say there was a pipe and it was dripping down, you just put it on. Just dabble it on. And you just dab it on like that. There you go. So there you go, guys. I hope that little video may have helped you in building your dioramas, especially the Teddy Toy Hunter, because you know you wanted the brickwork show, so you got it. There's the finished product. There's a little bit of green if you were going to do the toxic type setup. The rest is actually just the natural brick. I've made big bricks. You can do small bricks, chunky bricks, whatever you like. It's totally up to you what way you make them. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you've got any more questions or want to know how to make other things, somebody asked me the other day how to make a drainage pipe. I can do those sort of videos as well. Leave a comment below or contact me on Instagram, whatever you like, and I'll help you out. Please don't forget to subscribe to Jay's channel. She's trying really hard and doing a great job. And the link for that's just down there. And if you want to watch any more videos, they're just up there. Go click on them. Thanks very much, guys. Catch you later.